What's good, it's JB, and today I'm gonna be showing you the VSTs that help me make over 200,000 off beats. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first VST I got that helped me make over 200,000 off beats is keyscape. So here go what keyscape sound like. And that's all you really need to make something hard for real. And everybody always be asking me for my mixing sauce, but as you can see, the only thing special that I use on my mixing rack is Pro Q3. I take off a little bit on the low end, so that way it's not too muddy, and then I'll add a little bit to the high end. I like to keep it around +5, so that's my only EQ sauce. And then I like to add Valhalla burp, so that way it's a little spacey. I don't like my stuff sounding too dry. I'll keep it around 10, 1.61 for the decay. For this knob right here, I like it around 330. And also on the master, I always like to add the guard particle on my master, so that way it just bring out whatever I'm making. So that's a master sauce for real. For the next VST I got that I use all the time is omnisphere. One of my favorite sounds that I actually used in a Youngboy song I produced called Of Late is the introvert piano. And here go what that sounds like. And as you can see, it got like a little reverse effect too. So it's really the perfect piano to really just capture a lot of emotion. And since I'm a church musician, I like to go in the Keyscape Creative Bank, and then I'll go to keyboards, and then I'll just experiment with the different sounds that they got. So let's go through some right now. And then I love trying out new sounds because that's what it keeps me inspired for real. Honestly, perfect for ambient pads like this too. The next VST I got that I use all the time is Labs. Labs got so many different sounds that you can really pick from, and then they just had this update where it's easy to navigate. And the good thing about Labs is that it's free, so you don't even gotta pay for it. So if I go to the instruments tab and go to pianos and keys, it's just so many different pianos I got to really just experiment with. And like I said earlier, since I'm a church musician, I love experimenting with new pianos. One of my signature sounds, I'll go to the tape piano and go to tape head. This is like one of my favorite pianos I've been using lately. So and here go what that jump sound like. So it's basically just a real soft piano. It's real subtle. You barely even notice that jump. The next VST that I done got a lot of placements with is Analog Lab. I use Analog Lab in a lot of my songs. One of the first songs that I use Analog Lab with is ESTG and 42 Doug, Free to Shines. And that's a song that I did the loop on, all Analog Lab. And the thing that I love about Analog Lab is that you can add as many third-party banks as you want. So it's basically no limit to what you can do with Analog Lab. So if I scroll through my Analog Lab sound banks, I got everything I need to make all type of genres up here. From trap to pain, R&B, like everything. One of the main things I use Analog Lab for is making trap stuff. So Analog Lab, really all you need to make some dark stuff for real. All you need to do is just find the right third-party banks and you sit. The next VST I got that I've used in a lot of my songs is Zenology. The thing that I love about Zenology is that it has so many different raw instruments. This right here one of my go-to sounds that I use in a lot of my YB songs. That's one of my go-to sounds. And Zenology just got so many different sounds that you can experiment. And all of them really different for real that you're not gonna find nowhere else because it's straight from rolling gear. But I like to use their strings a lot. This was another preset I like to use too. The next VST that I've used in some of my songs is Nexus. I made one of my biggest songs, I Really by Hot Boy, with the factory Nexus piano. So Nexus is really just one of them classics for real. The next VST that I use a lot is Kontakt. Kontakt just got so many different banks that you can use. We'll be here all day if I was really just showing y'all all of my Kontakt banks for real. But one of my go-to bass presets is from Kontakt. I use the Rapture preset from the Scarby Rickenbacker bass. So here go how they sound. So that's the JB signature bass right there. And one thing I like to do a lot too, I always look up new Kontakt banks, so I'm always updating my catalog. But I'll scroll through my list real quick of what's over here. And these, not all of them. So y'all can go ahead and screenshot. Scroll back up so y'all get a clear picture. This one was sauce right here too. But anyways, so the next VST that I got that I made hits with, as you can see, is Arcade. I love using Arcade to find hard vocals. Some of my go-to banks in Arcade is the Hooked, Distant Voices, Aura, and Chopped. Those like the main ones that I use. But the one that I done made the craziest stuff with is Hooked. The Hooked bank got some of the best vocals that you will find.
Ooh, na na na, yeah. Tell me that. I just
Man, that joint too crazy. I gotta cook up to that joint. And then the Aura section, they be having some crazy background sounds that you can add too. So I'll just go in the Aura section. Go find this nowhere else. You gotta go to Arcade. Arcade really just be having the perfect stuff to add to really finish your loops. When you don't know what else to add, use Arcade. And Arcade even be having some hard chopped guitars like these. That's like the overused one that everybody know about. But if you really look through the junk, you will find some different ones. But me personally, I always experiment with my sounds to really get them to sound how I want. The next VST on my go-to list is Expand. Expand got some of the hardest simple sounds. The sound that I used in Expand from F to Industry by Youngboy and this plaque right here was this sound right here. So it's a simple wah that you can easily use. So it's a simple wah that you can easily use. And last up on my go-to list is Purity. I don't use Purity as much as I use the other VSTs on the list, but I like to use it whenever I need something like a sign lead or something like that, or I just want something different. Purity definitely got a bunch of vintage sounds that you can use like these. And it's basically my whole list of go-to VSTs. So that's it for today's video. If you got any value from this video, then like and subscribe and let me know what y'all want to see next. I'm out. Stay blessed, JB.